everybody? It's your boy Dan. Many of you know me from the bleachers with Dupree and doing my show WGTP Sports. I was encouraged to do this particular show though because of my lady. How she feels about how I talk about something that's so passionate to my heart. So what we're going to talk about today, this is a special edition of Hard in the Paint. I haven't done one in a long time, so I guess it might as well do it. And we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to me, which is sports. Specifically football, and how we're looking at a young man by the name of Colin Kaepernick. Now, a wise man once said that an injustice to one is an injustice to everyone. Which brings me back to Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick took a stance last year, or rather he knelt for the national anthem. A lot of people got offended, without even thinking about why they got offended. They just saw African-American male. He's biracial, by the way. His mother's white, raised by two white people. So you got to look at who instilled values in him. So this young man, a lot of people don't understand, haven't even done their research on third verse of the national anthem. It's very racist. Sure, we don't sing it, but at the end of the day, it still is part of the national anthem. So there was one reason for him to kneel. But really what Colin was kneeling for was the social injustices that were being inflicted on a group of Americans. And I'm going to say Americans because when it's all said and done, race shouldn't matter because we're all Americans at the end of the day. So Colin was taking a stance for Americans that weren't being treated like Americans. The National Football League has flyovers and everything like that. They even have an American flag on the back of this, on this helmet. It's a decal. But just like I know, everybody else knows that not every American is treated the same. We know that. If you think about the 20-something African Americans that were killed, unarmed, killed by police officers, you gotta be a special type of person to think that each and every last one of them had it coming. Odds don't even say that. We know better than that. But anyway, the narrative that was spent by the NFL and its high-ranking executives, it was released in the Bleacher Report, that most of them were highly offended by the stance that Colin Kaepernick took. Here's the sad part. When it comes to protesting, we can tell people how we don't want them protesting, but we can't tell them how to protest. We'll just say we want them to do it a different way. Trent Dilfer used ESPN as a platform. Dabo Swinney used the Clemson Tigers as a platform. All to come out and say, hey, we don't like what he did. We just wish he would have done it a different way. Some veterans have come out and say, hey, I fought for the country and he's disrespecting me. Well, guess what? I fought for the country too. I'm a 6-year vet. And even during my time in the Marine Corps, I knew that every American wasn't being treated equally. So where does that leave us with Colin Kaepernick? Here it is, April. And if I'm not mistaken, it's April what? 6, 7? And Colin Kaepernick still hasn't been signed. Tony Romo has retired. Blaine Gabbert still has a job. And even Chase Daniels, who really, when we're talking about a perennial bench warmer, even Chase Daniels has managed to be signed. If I'm not mistaken, even Mark Sanchez, he of the historic butt fumble, has been signed. Which brings us back to Colin Kaepernick. His distractors will tell you that he wasn't good. I got news for you. You can look it up. And some of you need to, because some of y'all are online talking about he's a horrible quarterback. The guy started the last 11 games for the horrible San Francisco 49er team. And all he did was throw for 16 touchdowns against 4 interceptions, throw for over 2,000 yards with almost 500 yards rushing. That's what he did. You still don't like him? Okay, cool. You consider him to be un-American. Colin Kaepernick's jersey, his NFL jersey, was the highest selling jersey in 2016. Highest selling jersey. And all he did was take those monies and donate them to local charities. Something like the Sean Hannity's and Bill O'Reilly said he should have done. Sean, Bill, you donate anything to inner city youth? No, I didn't think so. So now we turn around at 2017 and Colin still doesn't have a job. What has Colin done? He somehow managed to send a plane load full of food over to Somalia. That sound un-American to you? Does anything about this guy sound un-American except for the fact that he knelt during the national anthem and he still doesn't have a job? And y'all think he's not being blackballed? Come on, man. Y'all, it's not right. And at some point in time, we as Americans have got to start standing up for one another. I heard a lot of people say last year, Black lives, that shouldn't be what we're talking about. All lives matter. Well, damn it, I'm going to say it. If all lives matter, let's act like it. Colin Kaepernick is a young man who represents the epitome of what we want from an American. And so did the last dude was in office. You know, that dude, Barack Obama, that guy. They achieved the highest and they remain humble. They're not braggadocious. They just stand up for what's right. They don't make comments about females' body parts, and yes, that's a dig. And they don't send around and make fun of people that are mentally or physically challenged. That's not what they do. And they don't encourage riots. They don't. Colin Kaepernick is a decent human being, and he deserves to be treated like a decent human being. So all I'm asking for today is this. If you know me, if you've been around me, you know I love football. I love it to death. Favorite team is Pittsburgh Steelers. Show Colin Kaepernick how much you support him. Because last I checked, the only other athlete to take this type of heat was Muhammad Ali. And we all know he was the greatest, right? And it wasn't because of what he just did in the ring. It was what he stood for outside of the ring. So all I'm asking for is this. I'm going to do, if Colin Kaepernick isn't signed by training camp, it's real simple. Call your local cable provider. Tell them you don't want the NFL network. You don't want the NFL package. Call your satellite provider and tell them the same thing. Don't go buy your NFL season tickets if you can't get a refund for them. Don't buy NFL merchandise. Don't buy Madden 17 and Madden 18 or whatever. Because at some point in time, Colin represents the common man. The NFL executives, all they care about is money in their pocket. And at some point in time, we have to come together and show we appreciate somebody looking out for the common man. And the common man, his race shouldn't even matter. What should matter is his integrity. And to Colin Kaepernick, my brother, let me do this the right way. My hat's off to you. I salute you. I salute your cause. I salute what you stand for. And if you're not hired, I'm going to hold you down. You get hired and you still don't want to stand, trust me, brother. For everybody that can get out there on Facebook, for everybody that can get out there on Twitter, for everybody that can get out there on any type of social media, that means you have an internet. That means you're able to do the research as well. You might not like what you see, but at the end of the day, what you can and should be able to do is say, you know what? I understand where this brother's coming from. That's my time. I'm out. Peace.